Shanks just disrupted the fandom's entire understanding of what a person can do with Haki. And it got me thinking, what is Haki? Or how does it really work? Haki is a metaphysical manifestation of a person's will or ambition, but at a deeper level, it's the energy that each soul resonates and gives the host body. Or at least that's my interpretation of it. Today, I'm going to try to break down and hopefully explain what I think Haki is, and why Luffy will ultimately have the most powerful Haki the world has ever seen, besides just because he's the main character. Before I begin, I want to read this quote by Gol D Roger. "Inherited will, the destiny of the age, and the dreams of its people. These are things that will not be stopped. As long as people continue to pursue the meaning of freedom, these things will never cease to be." First, I want to set the stage with the recurring theme, inherited will. How so-and-so has inherited another's will when they have died. Unable to fulfill their ambition, another inherits their will and works to achieve their goals in their place. This is shown with many characters, from Zoro inheriting Kuina's will, Jinbei inheriting Fisher Tiger's will, and Luffy inheriting Ace's will, and so on. One translation for Haki is will, or ambition, which is either a huge coincidence or a very clear hint that literal will, or Haki, can pass from one to another, even if the receiving party isn't aware of the transfer. Another clue is in the way devil fruits work. When the user of a devil fruit power dies, the spirit of the fruit is passed to another fruit nearby. What was the point of showing us this? One answer was to foreshadow the next arc where, in Dressrosa, Ace's fruit is the prize of the tournament. But later in the manga, we learn that some fruits have a will of their own, and can choose a specific person to wield their power. Blackbeard said as much about the decision to kill Thatch and take the Yami Yami no Mi. The Gorosei also mentioned that Luffy's fruit, which we now know is not the Gomu Gomu no Mi, but the Hito Hito no Mi model Nika mythical Zoan fruit, had been evading capture, which led me to believe that it was not coincidence that Luffy accidentally ate the fruit in Fuchsia Village. Nani? Now I know devil fruits and Haki are their own unique power, but the mechanism of transferring power from the previous host to another could be a hint, as it's clear that humans do have souls in the One Piece universe. Brooks literally has the ability to control his soul, and inadvertently has power over the souls Big Mom casts into objects. Speaking of which, Big Mom is able to take souls or even just portions of a soul and implant it into whatever she wants. It's not hard to assume that while devil fruit souls are being transferred, human soul power, or Haki, can be transferred as well. This leads me to my main hypothesis, and one I hope to get explained in the near future. Shanks has Roger's Haki. Since it's just been revealed that Shanks has the strongest Haki we've seen to date, it only makes me wonder why. Why Shanks? Most of his life has lived off-screen or off-page, but when we see him in Wano, or really almost any time we see him, he not only has a super powerful Haki, but he has incredible control over it. He set foot on Whitebeard's ship and the wood started to splinter due to the pressure of his Haki, and of course he later split the sky, clashing with Haki with Whitebeard's. The only other person we see do this with Whitebeard is of course Roger, who was Shanks' captain. Later he thwarted Kaido's attempt to come to Marineford, only to show up later and end the war with his words. It's obvious now that it was really the threat of his immense Haki. He's like the walking embodiment of Theodore Roosevelt's quote, "Speak softly but carry a big stick." Finally, we see him show up in Wano and effortlessly paralyze Green Bull and even speak to him from miles away with his Haki. From what we know about Roger, even though he reached Laugh Tale and found the One Piece, he couldn't fulfill Joy Boy's will because he was too early, thus leaving his ambitions unfulfilled. Resigned to his fate, he accepted his execution and used it as a stage for the world to spread his dream, his will, his ambitions for the world. Think about everyone who was in that crowd. Smoker, Dragon, Buggy, Moria, Mihawk, Doflamingo, Crocodile, Garp, Sengoku, and of course, Shanks. Of all of those who were in attendance, who inherited his will, or Haki? I believe it was Shanks. Buggy seemed to only be interested in money, while Shanks was much more of a son to Roger. I believe it may be another necessary variable in the transfer of Haki from one person to another. the receiver must love or respect the person. So, in that moment of Roger's execution, not only did he spread his desire to maintain the wealth of the world, but he sent forth his haki to a willing recipient. Shanks then goes on to be the youngest emperor, and seemingly working on his own pace to find the One Piece and fulfill Roger's ambition. This could be why he sought out the Gomu Gomu no Mi, which was eaten by Luffy. Now, the fruit eaten, his goal is postponed a bit. This is why most of the time we see Shanks, he is casually hanging out, biding his time. He is waiting for the right moment, the moment when Luffy will awaken and become Joy Boy and enable Shanks to fulfill Roger's true ambition. So, Shanks goes from a seemingly ordinary boy, a parallel to Buggy, who is pretty much the weakest pirate out there, to the strongest Haki user we've ever seen, all behind the scenes. Could it be that Shanks inherited more than just Roger's goals? Could the actual Haki, or to be more specific, the Haoshoku Haki, be transferred from one person to another at the time of their death, similar to how fruit power is transferred to another fruit nearby? If so, it would explain in part why Luffy seemed to become so much more powerful so quickly, and also may foreshadow the reason I believe Luffy will ultimately become the most powerful Haki user who ever lived, even surpassing the original Joy Boy. Luffy has suffered tremendous losses throughout his journey. People step up to die for him multiple times just in the Marineford War. Luffy has some natural ability to bring people to his side and want to fight for him. This will only naturally mean people will die for him, and it's only expected that he will have some strong feelings for some or all of these people. Luffy is currently in control of the largest pirate fleet in the world. They are devoted to his cause and will happily sacrifice themselves to help him achieve his goals. Luffy, of course, couldn't care less for this, but he does absolutely care for his Nakama. Each death will be like adding fuel to the fire, and if my theory is correct, it will literally be adding Haki to his already immense Haki. Haki that is already a culmination of his losses from the beginning of his adventures till now. Inherited will, the destiny of the age, and the dreams of its people. These are the things that will not be stopped. As long as people continue to pursue the meaning of freedom, these things will never cease to be. If you like this video, please subscribe, hit that like button, and if you agree with my theory, let me know in the comment. If you disagree with my theory and think I'm an idiot, tell me that in the comments as well. See y'all next time.